Today we're going to learn how to use the import HTML function along with a query to build a data set that we can use to do some analysis of population. So I have a website here that we have set up over here, and it's this world population, and on it has a list of all the continents, and it breaks it down by continent, and in each section it has a table with the 30 most populous countries in Africa, for instance, and then their 2022 population. So we're going to build a formula. This is going to be equal import, and it's import HTML. And the first piece to use is the URL, and because I have the URL pasted here, we're just going to reference cell A1. And then you have to say what you're looking for in that URL, and we're looking for a table, and I know that it's table number 1. And if I hit enter on that, I'm pulling back the information. As you can see, the information in this table is now pulled into my spreadsheet. But what I want to do with this is I want to query it. So I'm going to wrap this in a query, and then I am going to want to put a comma after my query. So what you can see right now is my, if I were to open this back up, you can see I've got my data. My data is this import HTML, and now I'm going to begin my query. And what I want to do with this query is I want to select, and I want to create a new column called the name of the continent. So I want to select Africa, in this case, and then I want to that needs to be a single quote. Okay, so I want to select Africa, and I want to select col 1 and col 2, and end my quotation and my query. Now, the reason I'm using col 1, col 2 is that this is basically a virtual table. It's not a table from a spreadsheet where it'd actually be referencing columns A, B, C. Col 1, col 2, and let's hit enter and see what we get. And what that did for me is it let me pull in the continent and call it Africa. Now, I don't really, in this case, I don't want Africa to be my title here. So what I'm going to do is come back here, and I'm going to label this column I called Africa. I'm going to label it continent, and finish that out. And now notice I have the title of this column called continent. Okay, so I've written a formula, and I've gotten my data in here. And now I need to repeat this I'll copy this query, and I need to repeat this to get my next continent. So I'll come in here, I'll go ahead and paste. But in this case, I am looking at table 2, and this is going to be Asia, and I know this because I've looked at the website, and I'm going to label this as Asia, just to show you what would happen. So, okay, so now I've pulled that back, all of Africa and all of Asia. But what I'm really trying to achieve here, my goal, is to have all of these continents in a single column. So, we're going to use array literals, and we're going to type in the names of all these continents and get them in a single column. one of the things I like to do is label or color my formulas, so I know where my formulas are. So these are the two formulas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this second query, copy it, and then I'm going to come back to my first query and I'm going to wrap the query in a curly brace, and then I'm going to put a semicolon. A semicolon allows me to stack the two queries on top of each other. And then using a control enter, I'm going to come down a line in my formula, and I'm going to paste this second query, and then I'm going to finish out with my curly brace. And let's see what that does for us. Now notice I have my continent Africa, and now I have my continent Asia. Great. But what I want differently on my continent Asia is I don't want to label that, I don't want to label Asia continent. I don't want to have a label when I repeat this. So I'm just going to label Asia as a blank, and I'm also going to label col 1 as a blank, and I'm going to label col 2 as a blank, and hit enter. And that gave me a value error, so let's look at our formula, and I can see it's right here. We have to label Asia as a blank. We needed a comma there. And then col 1 is a blank, col 2, that should take care of it. Nope, let's see what else we got here. So we're going to select Asia, col 1, col 2, label Asia, blank, col 1, blank, col 2, blank. And I see that my mistake is that I have a space after col 1. So col 1. Okay. So now when I do that, notice I've gotten rid of, I jump right from Africa right to Asia. So what I'd like to do now is come back here and I want to type in the rest of these formulas and get this so I can get all of all 6 continents. So I'm going to do that really quickly and build this out so I get all of the continents in one formula. And you can see now I have, with my single formula, I can get rid of this now. In my single formula, I have Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, and Oceania. 165 rows of data with this population. I could then, if I wanted to, I have a formula on my clipboard, paste in this formula and pull back by summarizing this data, A2 to C, and selecting the sum of C, where A is not null, I don't want any empty rows in here, order by the sum of C, so I'm ordering it descending by the largest continents, and then formatting that so I get my numbers to turn out for me the way I want. So a real quick way to, in single formulas, pull back some data from a website using import HTML.